Oh, wow. Joining us now is Democratic Senator Martin Heinrich of New Mexico. He's a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and he questioned Jay Clayton today.
I'm going to give it to the chairman. I just would like to play one more little mashup of Jay Clayton not answering a word I can't say on TV question. Take a listen.
Do you deny that Joe Biden won the 2020 election?
Senator, I'm not an election denier. Joe Biden was certified as the president.
I'm asking one more time.
Okay.
Who won the 2020 election?
This is like, I'm here to talk about my qualifications. I believe he had the most electoral votes.
So he won the election.
He followed our process, had the most electoral votes, was declared the winner, and
who has the most electoral votes? Is it the person that wins or the person that loses?
I think that's your characterization.
We've tried umpteen different ways to give you the ability to just acknowledge that Joe Biden was the president. It was fairly and duly elected.
I've acknowledged, Senator, that Joe Biden was the president. I've acknowledged that.
And fairly and duly elected.
And fairly and duly elected under our process.
That deep sigh at the end is all of us. It would be funny if the President of the United States was not hell-bent on undermining our current elections and about to give a speech tomorrow claiming election interference that no one else has been able to prove exists.
So, Senator, there's just so much here. It's so rich. So I just want to piggyback on the Simone's, and we're just going to sum all this up with one big question, which is, what was the most enlightening moment to you? But I want to, before we go there, I want to play just one more, which to me really kind of sums up everything. And so, folks in the control booth, you can cut the tape after Ossoff's response with what? This is Clayton. In what can only be described in one of the weirder moments, and Simone just played one, and we had one coming in, when he was asked a basic question about Gabbard's appearance in Fulton County.
The first time you learned that Director Gabbard was present at that raid was in my office yesterday?
It was the first time that, in my recollection, I've thought about it recently. Now, was I aware of it before?
What?
What? I mean, look, folks, he said, when he was asked the question, it was the first time that, in my recollection, I've thought about it recently.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know how you can get up from behind the podium and just go smack the crap out of him.
You have to live under a rock to not have caught, especially if you're going to be the next DNI. I mean, come on.
It's so ridiculous.
And it was just one thing after another in his hearing.
What was the most enlightening or concerning piece, frankly, from the hearing today for you?
I mean, it was just the contrast of coming in and trying to say, I'm going to speak truth to power, I'm going to be honest and forthright, and then your next question, you can't be honest and forthright. And it was just so obvious that these things don't go together.
You know, Senator, it was interesting to me watching that hearing because it plays along this, what I feel is very clear now, but the president is trying to put ultimate yes men in these very important positions that have huge ramifications for not only the midterms, but for 2028. Yeah. We have Todd Blanche as AG, and now we have Jay Clayton here at DNI. It's not that long ago that everybody said Bill Pulte was wholly unqualified to be at DNI because he was somebody who had no foreign policy experience, was just absolutely trying to create this idea of foreign interference. Now you have Clayton, who sounds an awful lot like Bill Pulte, essentially just saying, yeah, I'm going to go along with whatever the president wants.
The bar was so low, all he had to do was look like somebody who was more qualified and more honest than Pulte, and he couldn't do it.
That's remarkable.
But he's also not more qualified, right? Like, does Jay Clayton have foreign policy experience?
I mean...
No! Senator, he doesn't. Let's keep it real. He doesn't.
That's the world my colleagues live in today, where
I mean, that's a statutory
sometimes you have to choose between somebody who is completely unqualified and a political hack who will do anything for the president, and somebody who is just unqualified. And that was where a lot of people went into this hearing thinking, okay, we've got to get this guy in there because Pulte's in there now, and he's firing people, and he's, you know, it's a mess. But he undermined the bar was low, and he managed to go underneath.
And that was that belief, like Pulte was somehow, that Clayton was going to be the gentleman compared to Pulte, but he's not at all.
Yeah. But that's never the case with any replacement of a bad nominee by Donald Trump. What comes next is worse.
It can always get worse.
It can always get worse. So with that in mind, given that the president tomorrow is going to try to scare the nation and justify his takeover of the elections this November, so y'all just get ready for what's about to come, because you know we've been warning you it's coming. Is this gentleman dangerous in this position?
Yes. I think this fealty to Donald Trump over the country is always a danger. I also think it's just worth taking a step back and realizing that the president isn't just doing this to create an atmosphere where he can create a false narrative and try to sway the outcome of the election. He also knows that every minute he's talking about some fake election denial scam, he's not having to answer for the cost of electricity, the cost of groceries, the cost of gasoline, the cost of diesel. All of the things that are going wrong in people's lives right now.
Senator, I want to bring up something else that came up in this hearing, and that's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, which was owned by Jeffrey Epstein. Right. Your state is trying to do an investigation in there.
Somebody has to.
It is being stonewalled by the feds, the DOJ. You asked about this. Let's play that clip.
Had the U.S. attorney did a great job. He started an investigation. They said Steve Hilton is starting to fall badly behind. And I said, that doesn't mean falling behind. That means cheating is going on. This is 2 weeks after the election. So I got the U.S. attorney involved, and like 20 minutes after they made that statement, they said, Steve Hilton just made the...
Can you commit to providing any relevant information to the New Mexico Attorney General and the documents, unredacted documents, that he has requested?
Yeah, I spoke to my team about this last night. That request is for unredacted documents. Those documents are subject to several protections for those redactions, including a protective order of the court. My folks, I think, as we speak, are seeking dialogue with the Attorney General to see if we can reach an accommodation that is consistent with those protective orders.
Sorry, our CD skipped there, so we had Trump at the beginning, but then it was your question. Tell our audience, why is it so important to get more information from the federal government regarding Zorro Ranch for New Mexico?
Well, one, because it is alleged, but highly credibly alleged, that terrible things happened at Zorro Ranch, just like everywhere else. Jeffrey Epstein set up shop. And we have an attorney general who's serious about actually having that investigation and trying to seek justice for survivors. So in the absence of that having occurred at the federal level in the way that we would all like it to, this is a path to actually being able to hold some people to account, at least in the state of New Mexico.
Well, it's something that, God willing, happens, because it's remarkable the degree to which the federal government is just not interested in getting to the truth on Epstein. Senator Martin Heinrich, thank you so much for being on the show.
Sure.
After the break, Donald Trump overrules his own administration's guidance in a move that could have dangerous consequences. We'll explain when the weeknight returns.